Chapter 174, Honest 3. From the moment Jiushang saw Xue Fanxin, he knew that there was something wrong with her soul. However, he had not expected the problem to be so profound. Back then, he thought that little Xainer's soul was only injured and that she would slowly recover. Who knew that her soul had actually been forcefully torn into two parts? To split a person's soul into two and make them into two separate existences, even the spirit-dividing art was unable to do so. Who on earth had divided little Xainer's soul into two parts? Where did the gods seal in little Xainer's body come from? Jiushang suddenly realized that the mystery surrounding Xue Fanxin was much more complicated than he had imagined. Little Xainer, do you know who your parents are? My father is naturally my grandfather's son. As for who my mother is, even grandpa doesn't know, let alone me. Xue Fanxin thought of her parents and really had no impression of them. Xue Baishan's son was called Xue Fanxin. He was a rare genius, but very few people knew of his deeds after he turned 15. At the very least, no one in the Nanling Empire knew. The power of nirvana in your body isn't something you obtained after you were born, but you were born with it. Such powers mostly come from one's parents. One of your parents must have had the power of nirvana. Then do you know who possesses the power of nirvana? What has this got to do with splitting my soul? From what I know, the only people who have the power of nirvana are the Phoenix clan. The Phoenix clan? You mean one of my parents must be from the Phoenix clan? I can't be sure, but it's not impossible. There are many unknowns in this world, and there are all kinds of strange things. Nothing is certain. Xue Fanxin thought that she could confirm her biological mother's identity and at least know her background. She was about to get excited, but in the end, she could not confirm anything. Guessing blindly was meaningless. Forget it. She would naturally know everything when she needed to know. Why waste energy? Jiu, you have talked so much but only about the power of nirvana in my body. What has this got to do with my soul splitting? Jiushang smiled and said seriously with tenderness, only those who possess the power of nirvana can divide a person's soul into two and make them live independently. No matter how powerful a person is, he can't make the split souls live into two independent bodies without the power of nirvana. What I mean is that your soul splitting must have something to do with your parents. It sounds a little complicated. Xue Fanxin still could not wrap her head around the whole concept. She felt that things were getting more and more complex. Jiushang rubbed Xue Fanxin's head and continued, after the soul is forcefully separated. A special mystic technique is required to make the two halves of the soul live independently. Then, it won't be easy to make the two halves of the soul fuse back into one. Xainer, is your body over there already dead? Xue Fanxin's expression changed. After a moment of silence, she nodded, yes. Upon learning that Xue Fanxin had died once, Jiushang's heart ached tremendously. He really wanted to know about her sorrowful past, but he was unwilling to let her relive it. Hence, he chose not to ask. He stroked her head gently and comforted her. It's okay, it's all in the past. However, the more Jiushang did not ask, the more Xue Fanxin wanted to talk about it. Over there, I got to know a man called Zhang Dongge. At first, I thought that he was a caring man. He was very good to me and had a very sweet mouth. Just as I accepted him and we became a couple, he hooked up with another woman and betrayed me. Not only did he desire my treasure, but he also wanted to snatch my wealth and even take my life. Later, I perished together with that scumbag and slut. I took a bomb and blew ourselves. Xue Fanxin told her story briefly. Her heart was filled with hatred for Zhang Dongge and Pei Honggyang. However, compared to before, it had decreased greatly. Perhaps it was because she had encountered an even more precious relationship. Upon learning that Xue Fanxin had once had feelings for another man, Jiushang's heart ached. He wished he could tear that man called Zhang Dongge into pieces. Fortunately, in the end, little Xainer was still his. It was enough as long as she was his. Although Yi Jiushang hated and wanted to kill Zhang Dongge, he didn't lose his cool. He knew that it was useless to think about all this now. No matter what, Siner was his.